Hello, everybody. So I'm just doing a few little bits of tech, and we are starting the part one of our manifestation and abundance workshop for light workers. Hey, everybody. And change makers, come on in. Welcome. Hi. There's definitely at least one very familiar face on there. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
So just to let you know, we've got a Zoom thing going. We've got an Instagram thing going on. Just so you wonder if I'm kind of looking outside. I'm not distracted. I've just got a couple of screens that I'm navigating. So I'm just going to mute everybody. Cool. On Zoom. Sweet. Okay, so we've got a few people coming in on Instagram. Lovely to see you all here. Thank you all for joining. So I just let a few more people in. Cool. So I'm super excited about this workshop. So just so you know, if you are sort of watching on sort of Instagram or Facebook, I'm only really going to be taking questions from Zoom. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a little bit too all over the place. If I happen to see a question on Instagram and I'm able to answer it, I will. But if you want to be able to like be on Zoom with me and ask questions, so there's a part 2 tomorrow, there's part 3 on Wednesday, then send me a DM and I'll send you the Zoom link so that you can actually join us on Zoom. So hey to everybody that's like managed to get onto the Zoom links. So let me just start a little bit by introducing myself. So for those of you that are on Zoom, if you have questions as we go along, like write them in the chat, and then I'll see like how much time I've got to get through everything that I want to get through. Cool. So can you hear me okay on Zoom? Yeah, sweet. People are taking a while to come on in. Anyway, okay, we'll get going. So just so you know as well, this will probably be like 30 to 45 minutes. I am recording it, so if you do want the recording, let me know. If you do need to obviously go before we finish, and that's cool, like go and watch the recording, come join us tomorrow. So first off, a little bit about me. So my name's Rachel, for those of you who aren't really familiar with me. And I've been in the health and wellness industry for 10 years, pretty much. I started off teaching yoga, moved into the subtler practices, mindfulness, meditation, yin yoga. I set up a retreat business here in Bali. So I live in Bali, Indonesia. I've had my retreat business for probably 6 years now, 5 or 6 years. And I started to sort of make a shift into coaching as well. So I coach online. I run teacher trainings, which we've just recently moved online. So I always knew that I was capable of having a bigger impact and making more money than I was making. Okay, there was this, I loved what I was doing. I was super passionate and obviously still am, but I just knew there was this, and one of the phrases that I used to say was like, I just feel like I've kind of got shackles on. Like I kind of know that there's something and someone inside of me that's kind of like busting to break out, but there's something that's also stopping me from doing that. And although there was this knowing of like, I know that I'm capable of more, capable of achieving more, capable of doing more, capable of having a bigger impact, at the same time, I didn't really like believe that I could have that. There was this part of me that I was like, because I didn't see the proof. Right, I didn't really see the proof that other people in this industry were making the kind of money that I wanted to make, having the kind of impact that I wanted to have. So I just found that there was this kind of inner conflict. Okay, so I've been working really specifically with money mindset for about 18 months. And previously, as I'm sure many of you had, I kind of been working with manifestation. I watched The Secret when it first released 14 years ago. And, you know, the law of attraction, it became like a real buzzy thing. And, but I really started to dive more into money mindset because I just started to realize that there was this glass ceiling that I had put myself at, and really wanted to understand like how to break through that. So I started working with some of the best money mindset coaches in the world. Literally, I was like, right, you know, I'm literally going to put my money where my mouth is and really start to break through some blockages. And I mean, this year to date, I've invested, I worked out about $40,000 in my personal development. Okay, if someone had told me a few years ago that I'd be investing $40,000 in a year in my personal development, I mean, I would have been like, well, I don't think I'm even going to make that much money in a year, let alone be able to like reinvest it back into myself. Okay, so it's really worked. Like this process has really truly been so impactful for me. But as I went through this process, I mean, I was just having so many mic drop moments. You know, it was just that like, I can't believe I've been walking around this planet for 38 years with this belief or with these beliefs or with these views or with these visions. It's like, wow, like this is phenomenal. And this is not something that's classically taught. We're not taught about it in school. Typically, you know, when our parents aren't necessarily educated in it. So obviously, like I'm sitting there thinking, well, I'm having these experiences. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other, like, you know, I'm specifically talking to light workers, change makers, you know, people in the health and wellness industry. But even if you're not in the health and wellness industry specifically, perhaps you're wanting to get into it, or maybe you're just someone that wants to make really positive change in the world. So it's really anybody that's really heart-centered in their world, in their work, and wants to really make positive change and impact. And I just realized that these belief systems that I had were so like pandemic, really, like across the board. Everyone that I was coming up against and seeing and meeting had really similar belief systems. Maybe they were slightly different, but they were all ultimately resulting in the same thing, which was not having the impact, not making the money, not really living the way that they want to be living, that they know they can be living. Okay, so you know, one of the things that I really started to realize was, well, A, it's totally possible, but B, imagine if the wealth of the world really was in the hands of the change makers. Right? Imagine if it was in the hands of the healers and the therapists and the teachers and the guides. Like, holy shit, the world would be a better place, right? Like, I mean, and why can't it be, right? And it truly can be. So I want to start off really with a quote that was posted on Instagram a few days ago by someone I know, and it really triggered the fuck out of me. Okay, and I wanted to start with this because it epitomizes why so many light workers, change makers, healers, therapists are stuck in this really shit mindset. And this is what it says: the planet does not need more successful people. The planet desperately needs more peacemakers, healers, restorers, storytellers, and lovers of all kind. So in and of itself, that doesn't sound terrible, right? It's like, yeah, of course it needs more healers and therapists, but let's just like dissect what that says. The planet does not need more successful people. So successful people are on this side. Healers, therapists, what else does it say? Peacemakers, restorers, storytellers, and lovers are all on the other side. And the two are mutually exclusive. I mean, seriously, fuck my life, right? Successful, if you are this, you cannot be this. And this is the problem, right? This is like, it is so societal that we are led to believe that, well, I mean, because what does that also suggest? That success is not good. Because it's painting this as a good thing. This is the good thing, right? The healers, the therapists, the light workers are good, and this is bad. So if we have this ingrained belief that this is fundamentally bad, we are going to just constantly self-sabotage our own patterns, our own actions, so that we don't become bad. Okay, this is essentially, and we'll get into this during the series, but this is essentially what's going on. We self-sabotage because of the belief systems that are so ingrained in our upbringing, in our society, and fundamentally in our belief system. Okay, so of course, like, we all have our own definition of success, and there is no right or wrong when it comes to our definition of success. It just is. Okay, maybe success for you is financial success. Maybe it really is about wealth. It really is maybe about things that you have, but maybe success is more about fame. Maybe it's more about prestige, accolade, recognition, and it really doesn't matter. But it's just knowing that you can be successful doing whatever it is that you want to do. And if you're not successful and you're not wealthy or living the life that you want to be living, doing what you want to do, it's got nothing to do with your external environment and everything to do with your internal environment. Okay, so there's so many beliefs that run the show. Okay, beliefs are subconscious until they are not subconscious. Okay, we have our conscious mind, we have our subconscious mind. The whole meaning of sub, right? It's underneath. So typically we are very unaware of what is in our subconscious mind. We can become aware of what is in our subconscious mind by literally doing things like this, shining the light of awareness within it. Okay, but our subconscious mind runs the show, i.e. us. Okay, it tells our conscious mind what to think. So we might think, well, there's my conscious mind and it's kind of got a bit of control. No, it hasn't, because it's completely controlled by your subconscious mind. Okay, so whatever is going on in there is what produces your thoughts. Okay, and then, so let's just talk about this loop, right? And this is this loop that we'll be getting into. So we have a belief system. Okay, and our belief system, for those of you that haven't heard this, it's being bounded around so much now in the personal development world, which is great. Our belief system is created primarily before the age of 7 by our primary caregivers, society, people that we're close to. Okay, we are like little sponges before the age of 7. We still can have beliefs kind of put in there after the age of 7, but the ones pre-7 are the ones that they just go in. If you've ever had that experience of talking to like a young child who's like 3 or 4, and you're like, Father Christmas, and they're like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, he's real, totally real, don't question it, right? Easter Bunny, yep, got it, yeah, totally real. All right, you tell a 25-year-old that Easter Bunny is real, and they're like, what else? Okay, so whatever the belief systems were of our primary caregivers, unless you have, get this, right, and this is where it kind of gets a bit scary, unless you've done the work, unless you have gone in with this torch, with the light of awareness, questioned your belief system, you will have these same belief systems as your primary caregivers and the society that you grew up in, whatever the primary messages were. And it'll be a mix of them. So you won't necessarily have identical belief systems to your mom or to your dad or to whoever brought you up. It will be this kind of conglomerate mess of all of it, right? So unless you have gone in with a torch, that is what is running your entire show. Okay, so your subconscious mind controls your thoughts. So whatever you think, right, we all have loads of thoughts on a daily basis, right? So you have your thoughts. Your actions, how you show up in the world, what you do, are a result of your thoughts. Okay, so whatever you do, a result of your thoughts are a result of your subconscious mind. Whatever result appears in your life is the result of your action. Okay, so we'll build on that. Subconscious mind, your belief system, turns into your thoughts. Your thoughts create your actions create your results. So now it goes back into a loop. So this is where it's a loop. So the results that you see in your life get fed back into your subconscious mind as proof and verification that what beliefs you believe are absolute truth. And so the loop continues. Okay, is this kind of making sense, those of you that I can see on Zoom, right? Beliefs go to thoughts, thoughts go to actions, actions go to results, results get fed straight back in because we see those results with our eyes. And that's proof, right? Oh yeah, of course. That proves that I am a bad person, that I am not capable of earning lots of money, that I am not worthy to be in this position of whatever high accolade it is. Okay, so that kind of loops continue. But we're going to, and so this is basically shadow work. So again, shadow work is a phrase that's starting to kind of rear up a bit more in personal development world, and we're going to dive much more into shadow tomorrow. Okay, so today we're going to look more at kind of like this broad stroke idea, like what's going on. We're going to look also at kind of the clarity. So it's really like manifestation is really a 3-part process. Okay, we need to get clarity. So today's it's going to be a lot about the clarity. It's a lot about like, what do you want? How do you want to feel? And how we kind of set that stage. Then we move into the shadow work, because often what happens is people are like, yeah, well, I've got really clear and I've got really clear on what I want, how I want to feel, but nothing's fucking happening. Okay, and if nothing's fucking happening, it's because there's a whole bunch of stuff that's lying, the murky stuff beneath, that is causing you to self-sabotage. Okay, and you'll never get beyond that. Once we start to work with the beliefs, then we can move into the really fun stuff, like the vision boarding, the affirmations, you know, things like that, right? And they're all great, but standalone, they don't do shit. Okay, vision boards are great, but if you're just doing a vision board once every 6 months, sticking it up on your wall and wondering why nothing's changing, well, this is why nothing's changing. Okay, because you've got to go deep, you've got to do the shadow work. Okay, so this is one of the many phrases that kind of hits home for me is, I am both the problem and the solution to everything in my life. And this is what so much of this is about, is stepping out of this seat of victim and recognizing that you are both the problem and the solution. Okay, you are the ultimate creator. You are, so therefore you're the creator of everything, right? You're the creator of the good shit and you're the creator of the bad shit. Okay, and as soon as we start to really see that, we start to see that polarity, then we step into this deeply empowered place and position of recognizing that therefore I can change. Okay, so, you know, you might have got onto this call, onto this live, thinking that this is, you know, really just going to be about money or about wealth. And it's so much more than that, okay? Because when you start to shift your money mindset, your entire life shifts. Okay, this doesn't just change, you know, your life doesn't stay the same, but you've just got a bit more money. Like everything changes. Okay, because when we have a poor money mindset, essentially we're living in scarcity. So when we do this work and when we actually properly go in and do the deep work, we're really looking at our scarcity mindset. We're not really just looking at money, because you can't be abundant in one area of your life and scarce in other areas of your life, right? You're either in scarcity or you're in abundance. Okay, so when we start to look at the abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset in general, not only will money come in, but so much more comes in. Different opportunities, different relationships, like it changes absolutely everything. Okay. So one of the big things is, which is a really good way to sort of move out of this sort of victim mindset, is really recognizing that you have to stop waiting for something external to change before you change. Okay, stop waiting for the time to be right before you change. Okay, you have to change first, and then the rest comes. Okay, and this is the trap that I see so many people fall into, and it's the trap that I fell into, right? It's just like, when the money comes, I'll start investing in myself. When I'm feeling better, I'll start to look after myself better. When I'm feeling more confident, then I'll start to approach these people, take on these opportunities. It never works that way, ever. Okay, you have to make the change first. You have to stop waiting for something outside of you to appear, to shift, to change before you change that which is inside of you. Okay. You know, one of the definitions of courage is acting in spite of fear, not when fear's gone away, right? Because fear never goes away. Like, it's always there. It's taking those courageous steps to act in spite of fear. So, you know, it really is about taking control of your life once and for all, and actually, like I say, stepping out of the role of the victim. So one of the questions to ask yourself is, just think about your life right now, like where you are, what you're experiencing, what you're going through, where you are in your career, where you are in terms of finances, financial abundance, or lack thereof. And ask yourself, is this the experience of life that you want to be having, that I want to be having? Am I sitting and living the experience that I want to be having? Right. It's either a yes or a no, right? For a lot of people, most people, it's a no. And then, like, what do you want to experience? What does that life that you imagine for yourself, how does that look differently to what it is that you're experiencing now? You know, remembering that you are the creator and the author of your life. So get really clear on what you want, okay? And this will be some homework, but you can also kind of journaling, you know, if things are coming up now, you can definitely kind of start to journal. So you'll get homework at the end of each call, especially if you show up for the 3 of them. Clarity is so important, okay? It's so freaking important. One of my teachers talks about, like, if you don't know where you are, it's really hard to get to where you want to go. Really, 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 really hard. So you've got to know where you are. You've got to understand really, like, where am I right now? Where am I in my life? Where am I in my career? Where am I in terms of finances? Like, how much money do I have? What's coming in? What's going out? You know, this was such a thing for me. Like, I used to live with blinkers on. I was so scared to look at my bank account, right? I'd be like, oh God, like, oh shit, I've got to face reality. You know, it doesn't look how I want it to look. Oh, I'm ashamed of my spending habits, right? There was so much that I was kind of, you know, going like this with. Okay, but we've got to be super, super duper clear. Say clear with where we are right now, clear with where we want to get to. Okay, but know that whatever you want, you're allowed to change. Okay, this was another kind of big simple realization for me, right? But we're allowed to change what we want. So know that whatever you desire right now, like if you don't want it in a year's time, like that's okay. Like, give yourself permission to not want something. Okay, but also give yourself permission to truly want something. And that's why this is a constant process, right? We don't just like do the mindset work and then it's like, sweet, sit back for the rest of our lives, right? Because we are multi-layered beings, like multi-layered beings. Okay, and as we shift and grow, our desires shift and change, right? So we're constantly pulling back these layers. I'll give you an example. Like, you know, when you were 10 years old, you desired certain things. Like, I'm sure you don't desire those same things now. So that's why it's so important. It's just that we keep checking in. What is it that I want? And realizing, one of the things that was coming up for me as I really started to lean into, like, what is it that I truly want, is that I was resisting truly stating and taking ownership of what I wanted because of my conditioning. So I had a particular number in mind as to what I wanted to earn. And it probably took me about 6 months to say it to a single soul. I was like, oh gosh, I can't, you know. And so whenever people used to say to me, how much do you want to earn? I would cut it in half because I was so ashamed of what I truly wanted because of my social conditioning and my belief system, right? So, you know, some of the things that were coming up for me as I was going through that process was, you know, what will people think of me? People will think I'm greedy. People will think that I'm just really money focused, that I'm really shallow because I want to earn decent money, because I want to make an impact. So notice as you start to really get clear around what you want, and this can be a number, but it can also be like, think about like, what do you want? You know, let's just think of it in terms of like the money that you're making, right? But it's obviously, it's never to do with the money. None of this is actually to do with money. It's to do with what you want to do with that money. And it's not even actually what you want to do with that money. It's how you want to feel as a result of what you do with the money that you get. Okay, which is what we're getting to. Okay. But let's say like one of my goals for this year is to build a home in Bali. Cool. Well, that comes with a price. So I need to earn that money. Okay. And now I'm super comfortable stating what I want to earn and stating what I want because I'm really clear with my conviction of that. On the flip side, also notice if what you're saying that you want is really just because you're sort of throwing things out there, rather than something, feeling that you should be saying this. Like, oh, I want $1 million. It's like, cool, there's nothing wrong with wanting $1 million, but why do you want it? Let's get really clear. Like, why? Is it just because the next person wants $1 million and that's just the number that's being flung around? Or is it actually you're really clear on what it is that you want? Okay. So get really clear. Notice if you're either resisting stating, you're holding yourself back, or you're saying stuff that actually just isn't your truth. Okay, so that's super, super important. Because if you can't state what you want with authority, with integrity, with that genuine sense of like, this is it, this is it, like, this is what I'm commanding, then you're never going to be able to get it. Because the energy, the vibration of that you're sending out is not of the right vibration for that to come in. And what all of this boils down to is kind of vibration, right? It's energy, right? Everything in the world is energy. Everything is just energy. I'm energy, you're energy, this computer's energy, my phone's energy, money is energy, our dogs are energy, everything. And everything is just vibrating at different frequencies. Our thoughts are energy, our beliefs are energy, our words are energy. Okay, so if the energy behind our words, the energy behind our thoughts is vibrating very low because there's negative connotations or associations with them, then that's what essentially is going to show up in our life. So when you've got clear on what you want, and like I say, that could be a number, but it could be a number that's based around things that you want to have, do, experience. Like I say, I will be building a home. Maybe, obviously the world's kind of shut down a bit, but maybe like you want to travel, maybe it's more like experiential. Okay, there's a number for that. There's a number for everything. We can put a price on it, on all of these things. So it's like, you want to get clear on what it is. Like, I have a daughter, I want to put her through the best education. There's a number to that. Okay, like there's certain things that I want to do. There are numbers to those things. So therefore, then I get really clear on what it is that I want to make. And then the next step is thinking about, like, what is that number? What are the things that you fundamentally want? And how will they make you feel once they're in your life? Okay, so once you've got clear, really sit and ponder, well, okay, when I, for me, it's like when I build that home in Bali, I know how I'll feel when I'm living in that home. Okay, there are certain emotions I can really drop into it. I'm like, yeah, like I want that home. Like, I'll feel grounded. I'll feel, I'll feel secure. I'll feel really safe. I'll feel really at home. I'll feel really nurtured. Right, and the list goes on. And obviously, you'll have the desires that you have to bring in the things that you want, and ultimately, they will result in particular feelings. Okay, so you get really clear on the feelings that you want to feel, and that is actually what you're after. It is not the money, it is not the object, it is the feeling and the emotion that brings. Okay, so you're essentially after an emotional experience. Right, that's all, we are emotional beings. We are after emotional experiences. And this is how we begin to manifest. The beautiful thing about this is you can feel anything at any given time, at any point. You are completely responsible for your emotions, not anything else, not anybody else, not any external thing, no amount of money, no object. Right? We are always responsible for our emotions. So we choose how we want to feel at any given moment. So, and that's not to say that me being in this house won't elicit emotions in me of feeling grounded and secure and safe and whatever. Okay. But I can feel those things right now. I can sit here in this very moment and choose to feel grounded. I can choose to feel happy, I can choose to feel sad. I can choose to feel elated. Okay, we can bring all of it into our bodies at any given moment. So that's what we need to do. Okay, you have to feel whatever it is that you're looking to feel in the future right now without anything changing. Okay, so just to kind of go back over that, because this is what I would like you to do for homework if you actually want to bring in what you think you want to bring in, right? If you don't, then you won't do it. Okay, but it's like, get clear on what you want, the thing, the experience, ultimately the number. Think about what that will bring you in terms of emotions, and start to feel those emotions on a daily basis. Okay, so, and here's the thing, right? And this is kind of the law. This is what The Secret kind of talked about. This was one of the fundamental principles of The Secret, was, the law of attraction. Okay, like attracts like. So if you start to like vibrate at the emotion of abundance or groundedness or gratitude or love or whatever it is, then whatever else is vibrating at that frequency starts to find you. Okay, if you're walking around through life kicking your heels, kind of like, nothing ever freaking works for me, I've never got any money, like whatever freaking stories you've got running consciously, subconsciously, that is what's going to continue to show up in your life. Like, period. Okay, because again, how does this work? We have our subconscious beliefs, they trigger thoughts, thought triggers actions, actions trigger results. So if we're vibrating at a like, nothing ever appears to me, well, the results are going to be a nothing ever appears to me result. Okay. One of the analogies that I thought of in terms of this, because I know sometimes, probably not for those of you actually specifically on this call, because you've probably all got a little bit of a spiritual tendency or a kind of belief. But for me, sometimes I used to struggle with this whole like vibe thing. Like, really, like if we like shift our emotions and vibe at a particular frequency, does that really change our reality? And so one of the analogies I thought, so, I live in Bali, and when you fly into Bali airport, and you get off the plane and you go out, and there's often, or there used to be anyway, this sea of drivers, right, touting for business. I mean, it was hectic. There was like a gazillion drivers. But let's just say there was like a couple. I mean, there probably now actually only is a couple of drivers waiting at the airport for the one plane that flies in every week. But let's say you've got like Made and Kadek, two drivers. And, Kadek's he's just pissy. He's really freaking miserable. And he's just sitting there with his arms crossed. And he just you walk out and he kind of harasses you and is just like tries to kind of like get you into his car. And you're a bit like, oh, God, that's not what I want. And then you've got Made on the other hand, who's like beaming that typical kind of Balinese nature that, those of you that have spent time here know and love, who's just like greets you like a family member. Okay, who are you going to freaking choose? You're always going to choose Made, aren't you? Because who wants to drive in a car with Kadek if he's like a grumpy bugger? Okay, and this is vibration. This is energy, right? Which not only shows that, so like, for example, like we could tell ourselves this story that Made was driving to the airport and was like, I'm going to get business today. I'm going to feed my family. I'm really excited. I love what I do. And Kadek might have driven to the airport and been like, like, this is a really shitty job. Like, I don't like this. Like, nobody ever gives me work. Right. And so it turns out with that attitude, like, who's created their reality? Well, they both have. Right. Made's created his reality of getting work. Kadek's created his reality of not getting work. Right, so we're constant creators of our reality. Okay, and that's not to say we can just sugarcoat shit, which is why we still have to do the shadow work. This isn't all just about like plastering on like wee, like just kind of fun stuff and like fake smiles. This is doing the shadow work. This is going deep, but this is also recognizing that the vibration that we like frequent at is what will be attracted to us. So if you're looking around yourself and you don't have what you want in your life, what needs to change? Okay, because you are the ultimate creator of your own reality. Okay, nothing needs to change externally. It's all inside. Okay, so like I say, we want to feel at any given moment. But here's the curveball when it comes to manifestation, and it's a big one. Okay, but there's always curveballs, as we know in life. You cannot have attachment to the outcome. And it's like, oh, seriously? Really? Okay, attachment equals expectation. And expectation equals setting yourself up for suffering, which are your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. And when you sit in fear, doubt, and insecurity, you won't attract what you want. So we get really clear on what we want. We get really clear on how we want to feel. We feel those feelings, and then we let the fuck go. We let it all go, and we surrender to the universe, knowing that whatever is meant to come will come how it's meant to come. We literally surrender the how, which is so hard for our societies, right? We're so like mental. It's like, I need to know exactly what to do. I need the plan. I need the manuscript. I need the step-by-step process. I need to know where it's coming from, when it's coming from, how it's coming from. I need to know who to talk to, when to talk to them. You know, it's just this like, okay. It is not our job to know how. Think back in your life, okay? And think about all the things that you knew you wanted to do, to have, to be, to achieve. And think about how many times you did get, do, achieve, blah, 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 blah. But how many times did that actually go the way that you thought it was going to go? Like, probably very few. So you have an entire life of proof that things do not happen the way that we think they will happen. And the more that we hold and grip onto how we think things should show up in the way that we think they should show up, the more that we are putting the blinkers on to be able to see all the infinite other ways that money and opportunity can come into us. Okay, because when we are like that, we literally miss the opportunities. So that's why it's like we do the work, we really do the work, but then we totally surrender to how it will actually manifest and come about. So that takes trust. Okay, that takes a lot of trust. Okay, and that can often be the hardest part, is releasing the need to know. So again, just remembering, like, you are the creator of your experience. What you experience through your life, you're creating on a biological level, a subconscious level, and a spiritual level. Okay, so it may not be your fault that you're stuck in the loops that you're stuck on, right? We all have loops, right? But it is your responsibility to change it. Okay, and this is where sometimes people can kind of get caught up in this whole thing of like, well, I didn't create this awful experience that happened to me. No, and it's not about that. But as an adult, it is your responsibility to change. Okay, because the more that we point the finger of blame, the more we get stuck where we are. Okay. So, and this is the other thing which has been huge for me, particularly as a mom. I have a little 2.5-year-old, is that, you know, you're not just changing for you, you're changing for the impact of all of those around you. Okay, because we all have people that we're super connected with. And the more that we change and the more that we up level, the more that the people around us change. And the more that we step into our power, the more that we inspire other people to step into theirs. Okay, and you're also healing generational patterns. Okay, so if you don't want to be like your parents, which a lot of us don't, we might love them dearly, but we're like, there's no fucking way I'm turning out like them. Do the fucking work. Just do the fucking work and cut those patterns. And then you won't pass it on to your kids, and they won't pass it on to theirs. Okay, and then that's how we change the world. One of my teachers said recently, because a lot of this manifestation process it really is about being in touch with nature. Okay, because a lot of manifestation kind of comes under the 12 laws of the universe, like their truths, their laws, like it's real. Okay, and it also is to do with cycles and rhythms. And one of my teachers pointed out the other day that it only takes one generation to completely lose touch with nature and cycles and rhythms. Just one generation to go like, nah, not interested in that. For the rest of the generations that follow to fall into that bad pattern. Okay, it only takes one generation to develop a really poor mindset around wealth and around abundance for it to continue until somebody wakes the fuck up. Okay, and we have the opportunity to do that, which is amazing, right? Imagine the shift generationally that can happen when you start to take your power back, right? It's humongous. Okay, it's super, super humongous. So just on the topic of like money itself. Okay, so money is just energy. Like I say, like anything else, right? You know, this is just energy. Like this is just energy. Money is just energy. Nothing in life inherently has meaning until we give it meaning. Okay, like, okay, we assign meaning to everything. One of the ways that I equate this in my head again is I use, like, you know, having a 2-year-old's great because they teach you so much about like development, ego, spirituality, right? My daughter has no concept right now of the planetary system. No, no concept of the planetary system. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't have meaning. Okay, but she just doesn't know about it, and she's not assigned a meaning to it. Okay, so everything that we can conceive in our minds exists, even if we think it can't. Okay, so there are so many things in life that we don't yet know about. There's so many things we've not seen, places we've not seen, things we've not experienced, but it doesn't mean that they are not in existence. Okay, and then when they become into our existence, into our awareness, sorry, then we assign a meaning to it. Okay, so money currently doesn't have a meaning to my child, other than it's just something really fun to stick on her face and to throw around my bedroom. Like that's the meaning that she's given to it right now. Okay, so when we have a negative relationship to money, money behaves according to our perception of it. So one of the things that I always used to do was whenever I used to spend money, I'd always feel a bit icky. I'd always feel a bit like, oh, you know, I was kind of ashamed of what I'd spend money on, even if it wasn't like anything to be ashamed of. And even when money came in, like I wouldn't be deeply appreciative of it. I kind of have that like, oh, quick, there's money. Oh, quick. Oh, let's like scurry it away somewhere, like put it away. Right, so no wonder money behaved weirdly, because I wasn't really just giving it a really just like nice, beautiful, open, appreciative like energy and vibration. So the other thing as well, just to kind of finish on, is one of the laws of the universe, which is the law of polarity. Okay, and there's 12 main laws of the universe that we look at when it comes to manifestation. And the law of polarity suggests that for everything in existence, there is an equal in its opposite. Okay, so what that means is, for example, you can't have inside a house without there being an outside of a house. You can't have up without down. You can't have day without night. Like daytime does not exist without nighttime. Okay, up literally doesn't exist without down. So every single thing that you can perceive of that exists, there exists its opposite. And the possibility for it itself to come into existence. Okay, so if you can perceive of something, if you can perceive of the fact that you can be super successful and earn $50,000 a month, it exists, the possibility exists for that to happen. Also, if you live in deep scarcity, like deep scarcity, like real lack of money, the opposite exists. It has to. The absolute opposite opportunity is currently in existence. Okay. And this could kind of be a stretch for our minds, especially if we're deeply stuck in scarcity, but it's true. Okay, so we've already gone into 45 minutes. Has anyone got any questions before we wrap up? You can write in a chat, or you can just kind of unmute yourself if you're on Zoom, or just any kind of thoughts, aha moments, anything. Feel free to chime in. Nothing? No? How's that resonated and landed with you guys? I feel like, Laura, are you typing something? Yeah, cool, okay. Jen, perfect, just what I needed to hear. You're welcome, Jen. Let's see if there's any questions on Instagram. I think so. Okay, I'm going to end on Instagram. So I'll keep you guys on Zoom. So just on Instagram, if you want to tune in tomorrow, same time, 4 o'clock, we'll be back here. Laura gives me hope. Right, seriously. Yeah, no worries, love, Emma. Yeah. So yes. Recap of the homework. Write what you want. Like, just be super clear how you want to feel as a result of what you want, and sit in those feelings every fucking day. Like, don't skip a day, right? You can't skip a day, right? This isn't like one-off work, okay? This is like a lifetime commitment, okay? So that's like, you've got to do this every day. You are so welcome, everybody. So if you haven't, yeah, thanks, Jen. Sorry, I do drop a few F-bombs in there. If you haven't got it already, I recorded recently a meditation, manifestation and abundance meditation. It's now up on Insight Timer. So if you haven't got if I haven't sent you a copy, you can just go onto Insight Timer and find it there. And again, like, listen to it every day. Just keep listening to it. Okay, this is like how we shift our vibration. Like I say, it's not just that. You can't just listen to a meditation of somebody saying really nice stuff and think that your entire life's going to change. Okay, you've got to do the shadow work. So come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be diving more into shadow work itself, getting into the belief system, looking at like what beliefs we've got, why they're there, and how to start to work through them. And then on the third day, we'll do more of like the fun, like the fun stuff. You know, like the manifestations and the real like visioning and all that kind of stuff. Cool. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for everybody else that's tuned in and watching. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.